I did explain you're coming to us from clinic today.
Literally
so you are
from clinic.
you are all invited into the dermatologist's office. So I have questions for you, and you haven't seen these questions before, so
No, hit me with it.
Ready? So should I get going?
Yeah.
Should I kick off?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So question number one comes from Michelle, and she asks, skin is all over the place after holidays, used lots of different SPFs and in and out of the pool. Skin is sensitive and dry. Help.
Okay, so that is one of the things that happens. And normally in the summer months, we're slightly protected because it's more humid. And for people who have a very sensitive skin barrier, normally, whenever it's humid, you get this extra little bit of protection. But what tends to happen is whenever you're in and out of swimming pools or in and out of the sea, or it's even the kind of constant changing and showering that tends to happen whenever you've been on holidays. And then you're out with the routine, so you're using different water to moisturize your skin and your face. And whenever things like that happen, you can then end up getting a little bit of a glitch in your skin barrier. So the first thing to do is it's a little bit like, okay, you're going back to school, and you've got to then get yourself back into your regimen again. And I would suggest that one of the key things to do is using a gentle skin cleanser. So just a regular, I have a Cetaphil cleanser in clinic here for patients to take their makeup off with, but something like that is very nice and gentle. So a cream cleanser to wash the face with, and using a moisturizer. And sometimes you have to go up a little bit of a level in your moisturizing. So where in the middle of the summer you might have been getting away with gels or like kind of lotions, you really want to be using a nice cream. And I really particularly love things like the La Roche-Posay Lipocare Balm. It's very moisturizing for sensitive skin, would probably be my top one to go to. That's what I love recommending for my patients who have eczema. And then getting yourself back into your routine. This is coming from Klira, where we do make our prescription formulations that are bespoke for your skin. So making sure that you are using that at nighttime regularly, because interestingly, for a lot of the formulations, that will strengthen your skin barrier. Often people try and shy away from it, thinking that these harsher ingredients might make your skin barrier worse, but actually use continually over time, it makes it better. So that would be my key, is pretend you're going back to school and just get strict with your skincare again, but be nice and gentle with cream cleansers and heavier cream moisturizers.
But don't shy away from your Klira Active.
Do not shy away from it. Stay on it.
Right. Okay. So consistency is key as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I've got, this is more of a general question actually. Do I need to change my routine as the seasons change? Is that around what we've been doing?
I mean, ideally, the more that you can stay sticking to the same routine, then your skin, that is better for your skin. And yes, seasons do change, but also the way that we live our lives now, we're often away in different environments. Even though it gets colder outside, we then tend to put the heating on inside. So sometimes if you're living in an environment where you didn't have these extra comforts, then you would say yes, you want to probably change your skincare a little bit. But let's think about it kind of quite broadly. In the summer, it is more humid. And in the summer, so somebody said my skin always looks worse in the summer, whereas some people's skin will always look better in the summer. It's a kind of like a give and take depending on what it means by worse. But usually in the summer months, you can get away with using, for example, in the Klira formulations, people are much less likely to run into problems with dryness of the skin because of the natural humidity that's around. Whereas in the winter, it's drier. We've got our, central heating on, and you're more likely to run into issues then. So we're now coming into we're not coming into winter yet, are we? Hopefully. But we're starting to come into a time whenever it might be less kind of humid. And so that's whenever you might want to use a slightly stronger moisturizer with your Klira Special. A really neat trick is to, before putting your moisturizer on as well, those little kind of like Evian sprays or the facial spritzers is quite good for generating that humidity. So that's another little tip that some people can do. And you can even do that during the day as well. If you're in a really hot kind of central heating environment, give that a little spritz with these kind of facial spritzing sprays to create like your own humidity around you would be
That's
a
amazing.
nice little
I
thing to
would
do.
never ever think to use one of those in the winter.
Yeah, I know everyone thinks, oh, we'll just use it in the summer, but actually the humidity's all around you in the summer anyway. There was a few really good studies looking at exactly like that, that came out of Japan, just showing that you then have got better tolerance to some skincare actives if you've got particularly sensitive skin by just increasing the humidity in the winter months.
That is amazing. I'm going to get myself one. Um,
And don't stop your SPF in the winter. That was the other thing.
well,
Yes.
I have that question. Yes, I've got a couple kind of around that. This one I thought was interesting, Emma. Will the SPF in my makeup suffice through autumn winter?
I'm going to say no. That's obviously being very generalistic speaking because I don't know which particular SPF that you're talking about or SPF in your makeup, but most of these are looking at UVB. And actually, in truth, in the winter months, coming to the end of kind of October onwards, we don't get, especially in the UK, a lot of UVB. So you don't really need to protect yourself that much about the UVB. You're not going to burn really in this weather. But what we want to think about is that many of us are also using our SPF as our kind of better aging, anti-aging cream. You know, it is really one of the best, obviously alongside the formulations of Klira, but that is one thing that we know will reduce the aging of the skin, and that is the UVA, those UVA rays, and they are still prevalent during the winter months. And quite often, whenever you see something that says SPF 15 or SPF 30 in your kind of tinted moisturizer or your foundation, it's really just about the UVB. So you want to look for something that's got UVA in a circle. It would be a key thing to do. And then that will be offering you some level of protection. So UVA in a circle, 5 stars of the Boots rating system. The PA system would be another thing to look for. Um, but normally it's not enough. I would suggest a nice layer of an SPF that you like to put on.
Yeah, because actually you do see it's kind of in so much now, isn't it? And you often see an
Yeah,
SPF 15 or a 30, but I'm not sure you see much of a UVA rating on those. So we're looking in the winter at UVA, even on a cloudy day, even if you've been indoors all day. From an aging point of view, that SPF is that UVA SPF is still your main protection against aging
correct.
during the yeah.
That's it exactly. So for aging, for pigmentation spots, for people who get rosacea, it's the UVA that you're really trying to kind of limit that damage from.
Okay. And actually, I've got a question on pigmentation as well. So maybe this is connected or similar answer. I've noticed darker spots of pigmentation come out over summer, especially on my face and arms. What will help it fade?
So the dark spots of pigmentation that come out are again the UVA stimulating those melanocytes, which are the pigment producing cells to make pigment. And when they're deposited in kind of individual, almost round like circle spots, we call these lentigines. They look a little bit like freckles that children might get, but the thing with freckles is that they go away. Lentigines tend to come and stay. They get a bit darker and a bit lighter, but they're typically there to stay. Or the other thing that can happen is somebody who has melasma, and these are patches rather than just the small circles of the brown pigmentation. And you get this often on the sides of the cheeks, around the temple, around the kind of cheek area, temples, nose, and sometimes right across the top lip, and sometimes in between the eyebrows. And all of these are caused by ultraviolet radiation on the skin, and usually it's UVA. So you get more of that in the summer, but you're still getting it in the winter. So the key to clearing it is, well, Klira is going to be helpful to clear it, but also is your SPF that's going to have UVA coverage. And for people who have darker skin colors, so brown skin to black skin, visible light is actually important as well. And to protect against visible light, looking at things like iron oxide in your foundation and things can also help, so as well as your SPF.
And is that a something you need to turn over and look on the ingredients list to find, or is it that just the presence of pigmentation? You know, like some mineral pigmented sunscreens, are they better for that type of skin issue as well?
Yes, so you will typically see, somebody has pigmentation, they want to use something that's super high in UVA, so the highest UVA you can get, high in UVB, something that goes to the whole end of the UVA spectrum. So a good one to know is the La Roche-Posay Anthelios UV Immune 400. That's an easy one. It's brilliant. That covers all of that. But in addition, if you have something that's got a brown pigment in the cream, it's typically iron oxide is making that pigment, or yeah, typically iron oxide. That's what makes the color. And so when you get a tinted makeup, or sorry, a tinted SPF, it's the addition of iron oxide that does that. I normally tell people but to put their own SPF on first, and then if they want to use a tinted SPF, then that's okay, because to try and put the tinted SPF on with the right amount, 2 fingers for your face, most people end up looking a funny color.
A lot.
So
Yeah, I've been there. Yes.
it's like the skin color that is nobody's skin color.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you can put on your normal SPF and then put that extra colour over your spots of pigmentation or
Yeah,
any areas tick you want to. I get it slightly just around my eyes here. That's quite a common place, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Or even some people's foundation, if they have a good foundation that has got pigment in that foundation, that will be iron oxide. So that's also protecting them as well.
Okay, that's lovely, isn't it? And your makeup can be helpful too.
Yeah.
Yes, we'd like to get on the full arsenal. Um, okay, this is a clearer specific question. Will our autumn winter, as in our individual autumn winter clearer formulations, be a little thicker?
So depending on, I mean, because every clearer prescription is going to be bespoke to that person, then for some people, if their formulation swapped around, they may find it thicker, they may not find it thicker. It all comes down to what that individual journey is that's being prescribed for you. So everyone will have a different journey. And so for some people, yes, because they need it, and for some people, no, because they don't need it.
Yeah, I knew the answer to that one because I might not be a dermatologist, but I'm a clearer expert. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because when I think back to winters gone by now, when there has been a really hard cold snap and that weather's gone very dry, we're able to communicate with all of our lovely Cura members directly and make sure that they're getting the right personalised advice to how best help their skin through that tricky period in the weather. So that kind of it's really personalized to you, isn't it? But we do react to weather, particularly then, more than at any other time in the year.
Yeah. I think that's right. And I think you did hit the nail on the head there, because the whole point of Clara is that this is bespoke and personalized to that person. And for some people they do need the extra moisturizing, for others they don't. And the key is that everyone is different and everyone's skin's different. So it's about getting that journey that's just right for that individual person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, this is quite a specific one, and it's not really about the seasonal, but this is from a very lovely member of ours, Chloe, that we know well. We're advised not to put clearer around our eyes. What eye cream would you recommend? And I guess, Chloe didn't ask this, but do we need an eye cream?
Hi, Chloe. A great question. You're advised to not put Clara around your eyes. I'm going to say to the veterans out there, most of us are putting Clara certainly on our eyelid skin area, because we know that it's really good for photo damage. So that does and can and is continuing to happen. But do you need a separate eye cream? Well, the answer to that really is, for most people, no, not at all. There are some people who have very sensitive eczema-prone skin, and they might require something that's a bit lighter. But in general, most people's face creams, and I'm talking about 99% of people here, the face cream is absolutely fine just to continue and take on to the eye area. it is very much an additional marketing claim for many companies to be able to say, oh, we have, you know, this specifically for the eye area. There's certain areas of the body that do benefit from a different formulation, and like the lips really do benefit from a different formulation. If you're somebody with very dry lips, the neck does, if you're going to be concentrating on the neck or the chest. But typically, for most people, you can just continue to use the same moisturizing cream on your eye area as you do your face, unless it's a bit too stingy for you, of course.
Yeah, I do take my Klira right up to now the bottom, but I'm not on the lids. I think I'm a bit longer on that. But it is really the marathon, not a sprint, isn't it? And so, you know, if I think about 2 years on Klira and slowly able to take it more down my neck or more up towards my eyes, and then see those benefits in a more gradual but more sustainable way as well, is good. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Chloe. This is a lovely question from Nita, to you, Dr. Emma. I read you also have rosacea. What are your top tips, please? And I've started my Klira too.
Brilliant. That's the top tip.
Yeah, but it's so relevant this season because I have very, very mild rosacea. But if I'm going to feel it, it's when the temperatures start to change in a more extreme way. So yes, any tips around that would be useful.
Well, number one is to keep everything as gentle and simple as possible. Okay, just joined. Hi. To keep everything as gentle and simple as possible, and to stick with the routine every single day. There will be days where things kind of seem a little bit worse than others at the beginning while you kind of get over the little speed bumps, but it will all then settle down, and then your skin will end up being reliable. So the number one is keep it consistent and keep it very simple. Cleansing the skin is really important. You know, you do not want to be using anything harsh at all on the skin. You want to be having the pH of the cleanser that you're using as close to your skin's pH as possible. And really great cleansers are things like the Cetaphil Gentle Cream Cleanser, CeraVe do a nice cream cleanser. Personally, you ask me, I use the Cetaphil one. I find the cream one from CeraVe a little bit stingy, and it's weird because lots of people will find it the other way round.
Around.
Yeah, there you go.
The CeraVe is just my ride or die cleanser.
Yeah, so it is very weird. I see this. You're either on that camp or that camp. So that's number one. Number two is don't skip the moisturizing step in the morning. It's really important to make sure that you're putting your moisturizer on, and usually it's more of a creamier moisturizer than you might have thought. Even for people who have what they might have always thought of as little oily skin, the moisturizer is really key. And then your SPF, and you've got to shop around usually for the right SPF for you. I personally will use the Roche-Posay UV Immune 400. Sometimes I'll use the Altruist. I'll kind of just go between the two. The Altruist one, I use just the body cream actually for my face, and it's much thicker, so I'll sometimes use that in the midwinter. But the UV Immune 400 Invisible Fluid is the one I would use that's on my face today. And then at night time, again, cleansing the skin and then putting on your Clear Special at night time. And that is really, that's it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Being careful not to be in the sun so much, so because even that infrared heat can generate the rosacea and kick it off a little bit. And for some people, there are certain things in their diet that do trigger it. So I would keep a diary of when you get the flushes and flares, and do this for around about 3 months. And if after 3 months you've got no correlation, well, then just forget about it. Okay. Don't let it dwell on your mind that diet might be a factor or whatever. Just do it for the 3 months. See if there is a role there. Other things that can play a role sometimes, obviously, are things like stress and sleep. And for some women in the premenopausal time, then that can also be a factor. So just to think about if any of those things are relevant to you. But that would be my tips for rosacea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody said Beauty of Joyson's. Love Beauty of Joyson's. That is the other one that was in my head and couldn't think of it.
We had
so thank you, Samira.
Lots of fans of that one. And Mita as well, you know, as you're a Klira member, you will have your curated recommended routine in your area, and these recommendations that Emma's mentioning will be there, and they're all tailored to your skin. So go and have a look at your routine, and there should be some good options there. So look, I know we're almost out of time. I know we have to let you go back to clinic, Emma. I did just notice we've had 2 extra questions come on, both about the body special. So it might just be worth talking really briefly about the body special, a little reminder of what it is, when you might need it, and can you use it on the neck as well, was one of the questions.
Sure. And now is actually probably a pretty good time to think about using the Klira Body Special. So this is a formulated cream that was made to target the specific areas of the back of the hands and this chest area. And it's got a combination of a number of different ingredients, all in this lovely ratio. So it's got kojic acid in it, it's got azelaic acid in it, and it's got niacinamide, or nicotinamide, some people call it. And they're all of these 3 things are working on different pathways of pigmentation to, first of all, kind of reduce the amount of pigmentation being deposited, but also to stop the amount of pigmentation even being made in these abnormal melanocytes that have all been kind of slightly damaged by UV. So what happens is you'll start to see these marks now, because your tan or your summer skin will start to fade a bit, and then you see the brown marks left behind. And the Body Special is kind of created just to specifically, be used on these areas. You can extend it up to the neck as well, should you wish, but it's really designed for the back of the hands and the chest, where those kind of, we all know that sun look that's happened over the decades.
I mean, it's amazing cream. I'm obviously biased.
Your hands are lovely, Sophie. I saw them yesterday in the office.
It's gone back 20 years and I had the splodges.
Hold them up to the camera. Your splodges have gone.
Splodges have gone. They've gone. Honestly, I'm an addict. I double dose. I love it so much. But yes, that's another great one for autumn as well. Okay, well, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. Learned a lot there, as always. And I hope that was really helpful for everybody watching. We'll summarise it. We'll send it around on email. Is there anything else you want to add, Emma?
No, that's brilliant. Just somebody said, can we use a Body Special all year round? And the answer is yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thanks so much to everyone.
Back to clinic.
The rest of your clinic.
Bye.
Bye.